that was sort of a Stratosphere's, final statement.
Awesome.
And it's a shame that it had to end there. It's not like it was, it had to be that way, but it just kind of worked out that way. We definitely, we probably lost a couple grand making that DVD.
Okay.
It was not like we spent 20 grand or 30 grand. It may have been about 10 grand.
Okay.
But in my mind, Lee is, he's not the composer or the songwriter or the visionary.
Yeah.
At least at that time, he wasn't really involved too much in the creative aspect.
Totally.
He's wet behind the ears, a new drummer metal kid that moved out and just gonna like fulfill the role of drums, and he did a great job. Like we taught him a lot. He was willing to do it, and he progressed. I mean, the way he was playing by the end of that tour with the sort of jazziness that we had brought out in him was insanely good. Like you listen to that DVD and you're like, man, this guy can play. It wasn't quite like that when he first came out. It was more dry and metal, and we used to be on his butt. He would probably tell you
that's what
like, okay, you're playing this beat, now mean it. Like we were about 30, he was 21 or something.
Totally.
We were just trying to bring out more. Okay, you know the beat, that's cool, now play it and make it mean something. And he's like, what does that mean? Like, like, okay, do the snare right there. Like when you hit the snare, it's got to like really pop, like, and then you do it, and then we'd be rehearsing and it would kind of go back to what it was. Like, no, it's got to stay there. Yeah. Eventually he would get annoyed, and we do the same thing with Adam, who's our keyboard accordionist, and same thing with him. They're both such good musicians, and I think we taught them a lot. I think they taught us stuff as well, just about how to, we weren't the best at like talking to people. We were probably pretty abrasive and could come off as jerks and all this kind of stuff. But
now, I remember Lee talking about like those practice sessions. He'd come home and he'd be like, dude, we practiced for 12 hours today.
That's right. Lee. That's right.
Like 12, it was right before the recording of Palace of Mirrors. He was like, dude, we practiced like fucking 12 hours.
He had a little bit of the millennial work ethic. I won't lie. We had totally ass into gear a little bit, but I think in the end he did a great job, and especially on that DVD as it went on, like he just sounded better and better. And
speaking of which, I just found my copy.
There it is.
Things.
Awesome.
I was looking for it, and I was like, shit, I think I got this around. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I don't know is it online or something? Because like
I've been uploading like almost every video from it on my YouTube channel.
I've been following. I've been following you. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Because I mean, nowadays, like even your fucking car doesn't have a CD player. Like I bought a $4,000 computer with no DVD drive. It's like becoming this thing that you just don't get anymore.
I'm gonna one up you right now. I got the first motherfucker, dude.
It originally was on VHS, and then we redid it on DVD. But
which one's that, Anthony?
Wait, what's that, Anthony?
That's the original.
These are the days. Yep. You can there's footage of them doing like band marches through Santa Cruz on here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there is.
That's awesome, man. Dude, that's totally cool.
Wait, which one is that?
These are the days.
I've got Passion for Life right here.
Oh yeah, I got that shit, dude. I got all of the Stratosphere shit,
dude. Awesome. I mean,
I love that fucking.
To sort of put a T on that sort of conversation we were having, like to someone like Lee, or maybe even band members. There were probably band members that looked at that endeavor and were like, "Man, we lost 10 grand or something." I look at that record, and I'm not trying to brag or whatever, toot my own horn, but like I look at that as the best product we have, like for our statement or whatever. The last thing we did was like, that is awesome. It has a story. It has abstract philosophical imagery. We played the music really well. I mean, to lose, 10 grand over that is really not a big deal, but
for sure, dude. And the satisfaction as an artist, I mean, you just touched on it earlier, and it's something that we beat to death on this show is like, we're never satisfied. So to get that little bit of satisfaction from one thing that you did with that project, it's worth it all.
Yeah.
And to truth, because Palace of Mirrors, that DVD, that tour, that album,
record,
all of it was just fucking so top notch to me, dude.
It does kind of have closure to it. It does kind of have closure to it.
It does, man. And it's almost sad. There's certain things I hear on there, and it's like I could have almost known while we were doing it. There was this bittersweet aspect to it. I think what it was if you take it to the beginning, when people first heard Hunger Strike and It's Understood, they really liked it. We had a hard time being embraced by like the Bungle crowd because there's always like the comparison. So a lot of people were like, well, I'm not sure. I think people heard a promise in us in our initial stuff that they thought, wow, this is going to be like something. And then when we came out with Buck Fever, as awesome as it was, I think some of those like Bungle people were like, oh, this is overproduced and Meteorite Showers changes genres a lot and Bungle does that. So there was a lot of people that they actually, if they were on the fence about us, there were a lot of people that didn't like us, especially after Buck Fever. Whereas Palace of Mirrors to me was the promise that we initially hinted at that we could do. And so I felt like we accomplished that. And a lot of it, Jason wrote great music. Timba and I wrote some awesome stuff. Kevin wrote some cool stuff for the record, and Adam. But it was Chip, man. I can't tell you how much having this filmmaker guy just hanging around. He's the kind of guy who barely ever had like a 9-to-5 job or anything. He was always just there on the couch, like pontificating, as Timbo would say, about like, what does this mean? And what does this mean? And sometimes it would get to be too much, but he was always kind of keeping us thinking in that direction. And having someone that's not a musician that can contextualize it philosophically, I think that is so important. And I feel like a lot of Chip has rubbed off on me. Like when I'm thinking of like the High Castle stuff I'm doing now, like everything I've learned from him, I'm kind of applying to what I'm doing now.